The ocean off the Outer Banks of North Carolina has long been referred to as the graveyard of the Atlantic. There are literally thousands of shipwrecks up and down the coastline. Shifting sands and rough sea conditions has carved a reputation in our coastal history as a body of water that must be respected, even by the most seasoned watermen. Because of the geographic location of the Outer Banks, there's always been a need for a life-saving service. Since 1850, there have been men and women protecting our coast, serving as lifesavers, lighthouse keepers, and watchmen. That tradition in Dare County still stands to this day.
My name is Brie Young. I am a surf instructor, a surfer, and a lifeguard here in Kill Devil Hills. I was born and raised in Kitty Hawk, so growing up, the ocean was my playground. Swimming in the ocean, surfing, fishing. So we're surrounded by water. It's part of who you are, and it's part of your makeup. When I was in high school, I did the swim team, and my boss was the swim coach at the time, and he talked me into lifeguarding, and that definitely changed my life. And it taught me a lot of responsibility, and I earned a whole new respect for the ocean. It's a lot of physical work, it's a lot of mental work. You deal with water calls to medical calls on the beach to public service calls. But I loved the fact that I could take my local knowledge of what I knew of the ocean growing up here and use that to help other people.
My name is Jacob Bolden. I'm from Stafford, Virginia, and I've been with Hatteras Island Rescue Squad for 3 years now. I do what I do because I love saving lives. Ever since a little kid, I was asking my grandpa all about accidents and how do you save somebody. So ever since I was little, I've loved being able to help people. Every day is a new day here at Hatteras Island Rescue Squad and the beaches, and it's a different experience, but having a fun time while doing it. One of the best ways to keep people safe is being well prepared. We do a lot of preparation. We have water rescue training every Sunday. We prep the skis before going out, making sure they're running, make sure all of our equipment's ready to go in the truck so that if we do get a call, when we get out there, we don't have any hiccups.
My name is David Elder. I've been a lifeguard in the Outer Banks for 25 years. I came down here for a weekend in 1991 and I stayed. This job is about relationships. Everybody you meet on the beach, they come here for their time on the sand. And the best thing I can do is to make that time in the sand as comfortable as possible, sprinkle a little of information in there, and make it safe.
We have 90 miles of coastline here in the Outer Banks. It's very hard to patrol all of it and keeping everybody safe. So in the areas where somebody's not patrolling, it's very important to use good judgment and common sense on those rougher days, not going out into the water.
When we get visitors on the Outer Banks, they don't realize this beach community is slightly different from other communities because we have a little bit more raw power coming from the ocean. One of the things that people very often are looking for is they're looking for a safe spot on the beach. And a safe spot on the beach to most people is an area where their waves are not breaking. That happens to be one of the more dangerous areas on the beach because that is an area where there isn't a sandbar protecting your beach. That is an area where rip currents are likely, where shore break is more of a situation.
Rip currents are dangerous because people don't know what they are. So a rip current is basically a hole in the sandbar. The waves break over the sandbar and they need a way to filter back out to the sea, so they create this channel. Rip currents are dangerous because people will get stuck in them and try to fight and swim right back through them, and they get exhausted. They lose their energy and they start to panic. The best thing to do if you find yourself caught in a rip current is just to relax, and you let the rip current take you out, and then you swim parallel to where the waves are breaking to get back on the sandbar. Then you'll let the waves take you back to shore.
My name's Nathan Loudermilk. I'm a surfer and fisherman from the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and I'm a lifeguard here for Kill Devil Hills Ocean Rescue. This is my 9th year. I really like being on the beach. I know a lot about swell, and I just like working in an environment where you are comfortable with. Shore break is normally when we deal with a high tide, all that water is gonna fill up the sandbar and you won't have that shallow bar out there.
The reason that's an issue is every gallon of water weighs nearly 7 pounds. Stack all those gallons of water up behind you in the position of a wave. That's what's going to be forcing you into the bottom.
And that's where we'll get our neck injuries or people hurting their back, because those waves aren't going to break farther off. They're going to wait until they hit the shore with all that power. Always keep your eye on the waves coming in. Never turn your back on shore break.
And be mindful of the incoming waves. When in the water, play the over-under game. Little wave, we go over. Large wave, we go under.
Lastly, maybe most importantly, is knowing your limits. Understanding your physical abilities, knowing what conditions you can handle, and if you're beyond your capabilities, stay out of the water.
You know yourself more than anyone. You know your physical limits that you have, so just use common sense and good judgment when going out in the ocean.
When the life-saving service was created in 1871, they did it because of their willingness to put themselves in a position to save a life. In life-saving, it's a lot about physical stamina. Well, thankfully, we see that in the young adults today. They're going through a training regimen of calisthenics, running, swimming, water rescue reenactments to make them more comfortable with a rescue.
Training is a massive part of our job. It's really important to put ourselves in physical and mental stress during training so that when an emergency happens, we're ready to respond and we're there professional and we know exactly what to do.
This Outer Banks family of lifeguards that I live with and work with, a good day or a bad day, they come running for each other. Whether we work together directly, we always have each other's back.
The ultimate goal as a lifeguard here, our perfect day, is for everyone on the beach to be happy, to be well informed of the conditions, and to have a fun, safe vacation.